Hello friends, welcome back. Today is Friday and we're going to pick up with our review of the catalog starting at the bundles. But first, I got a couple of things I need to share with you. So yesterday when I was reviewing the suites, my fact checker was not available, and she let me know that she had some answers for me today if I wanted to go back and catch up. So I decided that that was really a great opportunity to do two things. One is to clarify what I missed yesterday, and two is to show you a couple of tips and tricks. So my name is Michelle Salcho. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. I live in Middle Tennessee, where it is quite stormy, has been all week, and will be for the next 2 days as well. But I don't think that we're going to be impacted by that in our live streams anyway. So what, oh, and then one other thing is usually on Friday evenings, my husband takes care of the transportation of our youngest to martial arts, but he had to go into the office today, and I am going to need to be that taxi driver. So the second video that is scheduled is the live that's scheduled for 6. That might be more like 6:15 or 6:30. So I apologize for that. Didn't realize our schedule had changed. So hope that you're finding me here and that it's not too confusing, that this whole YouTube not being able to be in the face group thing is not too terribly confusing. Of course, it didn't help that I recorded the first video on mute, but yeah. Those dang ducks, they just were not in a row. I knew they weren't, but if that's the worst thing that happens, it'll all be good. So let's see. All right, I lost my thought. So I'm going to switch the camera and jump over and show you where we were. So yesterday evening, we were talking about this beautiful suite collection and talking about how some of the samples, right? And how they created some of these frames, and because that looked a little like a puzzle when we were looking at the dies. And then I also was talking about how I was sure that the dies would cut out some of the images in the DSP. Well, guess what? I was right. I just missed out on, I gave up too soon, I guess is what it is. As Lou said, that the last page is the one that I wanted. So it's this one. Hi Kay, thanks for being here. So these two images are both cut out by the dies, right? So I've got a couple queued up and ready for us to look at. Now, you know, it's hard, it can be hard to cut up this beautiful paper, right? And especially to cut out this craziness here, right? So, you know, what do you do with these pieces that aren't complete? Well, you could do a couple of things. And I'll just give you, I'm just going to give you a rough idea first. So with this one, now you could do this with the die, but because I want to do something kind of quick, I'm just going to fussy cut around, and you'll notice that I am fussy cutting. I'm not even, this is not trimmed as closely as it would be, but you'll notice I'm still following the rules of fussy cutting, where you move your paper, not your scissors. So on the inside of your card, your layer, what if you put this over on this side to give it a little decoration, right? You could do that on your envelope. Same thing. Put this in the, I mean, it wouldn't work over here, or maybe it would, but it would look a little upside down. But you could put it in the top or the bottom. So that's something that you can do with those little half, quarter, partial images that you see along the sides when you cut out the middle of them. All right, so I am gonna grab the cut and emboss machine and show you a couple of things. I think we'll go ahead and do the two images first, since that's where I started. So I've trimmed them out of the DSP. I think I need to just need to go back a little. So I'm going to get out the mini cut and emboss machine. We'll talk a little bit about it, and then we'll cut these little guys out. The mini is my favorite. Hey Lou, thanks for being here. Appreciate the help. Okay. So these little pieces are tape, post-it tape. That is a product I got on Amazon. It looks like this, and it comes like 3 rolls. I've not had to reorder in all the time that I've used it. Now, your mini cut and emboss machine has a few different plates, so I'm gonna review those just a little bit. Each one describes the sandwich, all right, that you need to use with your machine. Number 1 is the base plate, right, and it says use this with thin dies. Number 3 is to be used with your standard embossing folders, and number 4 with 3D embossing folders. So you kind of use one of the 3 when you are die cutting, well, when you're using the mini machine. Unless I'm doing something really intricate, like the frames, you know, that have a lot of small pieces, I use number 3. I'm a rebel. And then I use the 2 clear plates. They are numbered, they're both numbered 2. Now, the small die cut machine is a little different in the way you line up your plates to go through the machine. What they've told us is to think of it as an E and give the rollers a little cushion. So this is going to compress, and then it has time to get this extra thickness in. Whereas if you run it all even, then the machine doesn't have much time to do that. I'm going to call it absorption. I'm not sure that that's entirely correct, but I like that. So think of this as an E. So the bottom plate is going to be closer to the middle, and the top plate is going to be closer to the middle. All right, here is our image, and I'm digging out my dies. Okay, this is the die for it. I should do this on the other side because I've got more light over here. So I line this up. Okay, evidently I can't talk while I do that either. So your dies, this new style of die leaves very little white space showing, maybe even none. But I've got the stem showing through there. So I'm going to put a little piece of tape here and a little piece of tape over here. And then I'm going to look at it again and make sure it didn't go too crazy. And then I will run it through. And so you can see I've got the middle plate sticking out the back side. That makes this an easy crank. And this peels off, you know, it's like a post-it note. I'm still gentle about it because there's some papers that it could probably tear fairly easily. But there is my beautiful image. So that's number 1. And now this one, so your mini cut and emboss machine cuts images that are no more than 3 1/4 inches wide. There are usually symbols to let you know if the dies in a particular set can be used with the mini. So if that's something that you look for because you have a mini instead of the big machine, I'll try and remember to find those little symbols. I'm just moving that around a little bit. And then this is pretty close to the edge here, but I think it'll still be okay. And then there you have it. Now, if you like to fussy cut, you can certainly, you're more than welcome to fussy cut this, but that is just, that's gorgeous. And I would never be able to get in between like the die did right there. So now I did a rough fussy cut around this other image on the edge. If I wanted to use the die, you know, what does that look like since it's only a partial? And it's really not that different. You just line up the pieces of it that you have. And run it through. Now there's a difference in the way that you run your sandwich in the small and the big. So we're going to use the big machine for the frame pieces. But there you go. So now we've cut that out with the dies as well. With the frames, with the dies. Oh my gosh. It's been a busy, busy week, right? I feel like we had to pay for the day off on Monday, and then having been traveling last week, there was lots to catch up as well on that. Okay, now pull out the big machine that I have here. And I also have a dryer sheet here. This is a tip that I'm going to share with you, and you may have seen it before. I'm by no means the inventor of this, but I'm just folding this dryer sheet in half so that it's the same thickness. And what this will do is kind of stick to those little intricate pieces. So before we got on today, I die cut this, right, in white. Oh, a couple little pieces. I didn't have a dryer sheet when I was doing it, so I have a couple of strays to get out. That sample, that's what was used right here, right? That was this white frame. Now we're going to do this frame. And I did one of those already too, but I wanted to show you what I did, and I want to show you this dryer sheet. Okay, so let's do the green first. And I'm just going to lay that dryer sheet down, lay my cardstock down, and then I want to get this as even as I can. And now I'm not so picky, I'm not so fussy that I'm going to get a ruler out and mark and measure and all of that. I don't see straight really well, but because I can't see it really well, I can pretend it's just fine. So it's just fine in my world. Okay, so now I've got the dryer sheet on bottom, then I've got my cardstock, my die, and these plates can be flat, flush, right? But if you've got a die that has like a hard edge like this, if you can angle your cardstock to go in the machine so that it doesn't hit the hard edge all at once, it will be an easier crank for you, which easy cranks are always a good thing, right? And that dryer sheet added a little bit of thickness, but what that will give me is the dryer sheet will collect the little extra pieces. So I want to peel off the the dye first. Okay. All right, so it was stuck to the middle, so it came with it. But now you can see I've got all of these little pieces that I want to leave behind, if you will. So when I peel this off, see the magic? The dryer sheet grabs most of them for me. And makes it easier for me to clean up too, because they didn't pop all over my desk or my floor. And I just have, let's see, there's 1, 2, a tiny one there, 3 little pieces that didn't come out cleanly on the dryer sheet. So I count that as a huge win. So you saw on that one, we just used the that frame, the frame die to cut out the frame here. Okay, I'm going to bail on the dryer sheet because I don't have another one up here, and it's taken time to release. So, okay, for the white piece, which we're going to actually use these two pieces, these two dies together, and that way we will cut out, this will cut out the outline shape, and then this creates the detail. So you can use these independently, so you would just have just this shape, okay, that would be a really cool layer, or just this one like we did, which left a frame behind. I think I'm getting these words in the right order. Okay, I'm going to kind of tape these dies together, try and get them fairly even before I put them down on my paper. Although, like I said, I'm not generally really fussy. I don't really like to do fussy cards. Okay, so you stick there. Where did my white go? All right, here's my white cardstock. I'm going to turn this again. Now, and I only need to, I don't have to line this up straight on my paper, but I want to make sure that I have left enough room, and I have. So angled again, because I do have a straight line there on the edge. Oh my gosh. Okay, so now you can see what got left behind, right? And then I somehow kind of managed to throw that across the room. But you can see these are popping right out. So this is a die that does die cut beautifully. But the dryer sheet was easier and didn't leave quite the mess on my floor. But how pretty is that? So guys, I just made the guts of 4 different cards just like that. So not, and actually you could use, I guess that's not quite even, but if you wanted to, you could use that again. Okay, let's just put these away. I need to put these back where they go. Or almost. Sorry, that's kind of loud. And then we'll clean this up. So thank you, Lou, for helping me out, get that all straight so that I could demonstrate what they really do, what we want them to do, because it is a super, super pretty suite, and it's a shame that I didn't get it quite right yesterday. Okay, so set this over here. And do you ever do this? Do you ever put the extra pieces that you cut, do you ever put them like in your stamp case? Sometimes I'll take one of the clear envelopes, and I'll just slide the pieces that maybe I'm not quite ready to work with, or I don't know what I'm going to do with them yet. And I'll just slide them in. This is not going to be easy because they're all those pieces. But I'll just put them in the stamp case there, and then they're ready to go. I've even been known to put the embellishments in the stamp case because sometimes those can get misplaced. Oh, we've got these two. These. I nearly forgot. So we'll add these in here as well. Now, when I make a post next week and say, oh my gosh, I know I did that and I can't find it, somebody will speak up, right? Okay, so back to our regularly scheduled event, starting on with page 56. So we're starting with the Layers of Beauty, and this is a bundle that has the stamp set, dies, and the layering masks. We had a set like this in the mini catalog, and I absolutely loved it because you had so many choices in how you wanted to do this. So you could stamp this little guy and not color it, right? Just stamp the detail, just leave it like that. So that was one way. You could stamp the detail and then color it with blends, ink, watercolor pencils, you know, a number of ways to color it, even blending ink over it just to give it a real soft look. You could stamp it and then color it using the layering masks to color, or you could just use the layering masks to create the image without that detail. And I'll give you a clue. I don't think I have my sample up here, but this is where beige is absolutely gorgeous. So if you stamp this detail in beige, and then you either do the masks or you color with, you know, some other medium, the beige, it's almost a no-line watercolor effect, and it's just gorgeous. So let me show you kind of what I'm talking about. So you can, of course, die cut your image, and you've actually got a couple of choices here. The dies will cut, well, here I go again, right? The dies will cut out just this one, right? If you wanted to use, you know, just a little, it's not a complete one-to-one size here. Or you can, come on. Okay, you can cut around the whole image with this die. Okay, that will cut out all of this. Then you've got some greenery. You have this little piece, which is, I think it's going to be that one, right? And then you've got these pretty fonts too, and a little label, right, for your greeting, for a greeting. Okay, so those are the dies, but I want to show you. Okay, I'm trying to figure out how to do this best. I didn't plan this out really well. So let's talk about the masks for a second. Now the masks are a plastic of sorts, so the ink just rinses right off. They have a notch and they are numbered, right? So here's number 1 and 2, 3, 4, and 5. So let's talk about how that would work. So this is going to be you're going to blend in the lightest color of your flowers. Okay, that's first. This notch is going to help you line up the next die. Okay, so it's going to go, what I usually do is mark on my grid paper that little notch, and then I tape down whatever I've stamped or colored on. So, okay. I feel like we need another field trip. Okay, so here's my glass mat. Oh, I've run out of white. Oh no. I seriously don't have a piece of white over here. That never happens. That's already done. Okay, well, we'll just pretend that this is it, right? So I would tape this down with a little Post-it tape and figure out where I didn't need to color or something. I would do that, and then see, this is not going to fit all of it, but it might be something like this, right? So my notch is right here. So then I would take a marker, because markers on my glass mat are just going to come right off, and I would mark that. So then I would take my blending brushes and I'd put that color all down. Then I would lift this off. So that was number 1. Then I would come in, oh, here's my white that I was going to use. Oh, come in with number 2, match up the notch, right? And this is going to be a darker layer of my flower. And sometimes that is 2 different colors. Sometimes it is just less intensity of this, or more intensity of the same color that you used first. And then number 3 is going to be the darkest part of my flowers, right? Then number 4, I'm starting to work on the greenery around my flowers. So the largest open space is going to be the lightest color. And then number 5 is going to be the detail that goes along with it. So they're lots of fun. We did these at the retreat in March, and they turned out so pretty. And we did several different ways. We did one where we stamped and we colored it with blends, and we did another that we stamped and we colored it with the masks. We did one where we heat embossed the detailed image and didn't color it at all. And we did one where we added color to the masks and we didn't stamp it at all. So this is such a great value. If you're doing a class, it's a great one to do a class with, because you can show so many different techniques with the single bundle. So that is the Layers of Beauty. I do not intend to do a field trip with every bundle that we have. I just felt like that one really deserved it. And let me clean up a little bit so that I can get back to where we were. Okay. Next up in the bundles, there are 17 16 new bundles in this catalog. I think that's incredible. Bundles can be a stamp set and die or a stamp set and punch. And of the ones that I have one punch and 4 dies. Okay, moving right along. Now we have a couple of new bundle styles where you can choose to get the dies or the punch as your bundle. So right here you can see that this first item number is the stamp set and dies, that item code and price. And then the second one is the stamp set and punch. Or of course you could get just the punch standalone, the die standalone, the stamp set standalone. And both of these are like that. So the labeled with love and the keeping tabs. I love this notebook. I just think this is gorgeous where they've added some tabs in the notebook. They've added notes and then they've stamped the butterfly from here. They've just stamped it on the cover. I just love that. So this is a photopolymer stamp set. You have the label outline and some fun greetings and some images with that as well. Two-step stamping with the flowers and the butterfly, and even the gifts. You could two-step stamp over this. If this is light enough, then you could stamp this darker over it, or you could emboss, heat emboss on top of it. So lots of choices in this cute little stamp set. And then here is the punch. I opted to get the punch because I think that these are really quick and easy. Even though this does 3 at a time, I felt like the punch was the right decision for me. And when you're making your purchases, you decide for yourself what you want. But I love that we've got options here. I've not seen that before. Okay, then the next bundle is called Friendly Fins, and it is dolphins and sharks and sea rays and a little school of fish as well. Cool, fun font, right? Thanks for everything. Here's to you, my friend. Happy birthday and make a splash. And then the dies. You've even got this little kind of an aquarium scene. Well, I'm going to call it an aquarium scene because, you know, in my world it would live in an aquarium. I wouldn't see it at the bottom of the ocean, but in theory, you know, that works too. And you can even die cut out some bubbles. So here are a couple of samples with that. Hearts to Hugs. Now this was available in the pre-order, so you've probably seen quite a few samples with it. I avoided it in the pre-order. I love it. But I was saving myself. And then Lou, my friend Lou, made a card and shared it with this stamp set. And then a friend, another friend, fellow demonstrator, made about 5 cards with this. And she followed the same kind of recipe, same recipe for all of them. And I'm like, okay, I've got to have it. So I'm hoping to recreate all of those cards. Fun coloring. Love this little heart. So this is kind of a twofer, right? You can give yourself this heart, this little heart detail that's cut out. And then you've got the little hearts that you can use somewhere else. So that's super fun. You've even got some little flowers here. So very fun bundle there. Oh, and I do have it, right? I kind of forgot. So good size. Something that else is a little different in the catalog is a lot of times we're accustomed to these being shown at actual size. And in order to make the catalog smaller, more mailable, more cost effective, they're not all at full size. So that's just one of those things that we will get used to. So this is a red rubber set. And just looking at it, mine looks a little... You want to make sure with your red rubber, these little marks are the marks that help the machine do the full cut. Cuts all of them out at one time, but it can get skewed a little bit, and so you want to just make sure that you've got all of the image within the red rubber itself. And I do. This one is a little close, but that's actually helpful because it'll help me know where my edge is going to be. I have one friend that continues, back in the early days of Stampin' Up, this would come solid and you would cut out your stamps yourself. And so one of my friends actually continues to trim her stamps. She gets them as close to the edge as she can. So there's a little trivia for you, and a tip to watch. So here are the dies. So you've got another banner, flags, ends for a greeting, and then there are those hearts that I told you. And something to note, you've got double hearts and 2 dies, right? So you're getting 4 with that. And then the flowers, you've got several flowers that are going to cut out at one time too. So we talked yesterday about having doubles of some of those images that are cutting out is quite handy. So, all right, hearts and hugs. Then the next one is pocket thoughts. Now, these are pockets that you could use for, you know, even a gift card if you want, or you can incorporate them into your card design. And then it's got a fun little stamp set with it. Here's a graduation cap, engagement rings, and of course, you know, who doesn't love cupcakes, right? Oh, Joyce trims the rubber off, extra rubber off of hers too. Oh. Oh, so Lou, yeah, sometimes it's better if they make the choices for us, right? Then we don't have to struggle with making that decision. It's made for us. Round we go. You've seen these pinwheels before. Rosettes, not pinwheels, rosettes. And you can make these with the scoreboard, right? You know, and score them every ½ inch or so and then round them out. Or this bundle includes the dies that will take care of that for you, make it really easy. I think these are just gorgeous. That's how they've done the ones here. Now, if you're using this on a card, remember that's going to add quite a bit of bulk. So when you're mailing it, yeah, that's going to require a different envelope and some extra postage. We haven't really talked a lot about, since the earlier in the catalog, we talked about what these icons meant in the first video. Okay, you didn't hear it in the first one because that was on mute, but the first one, we talked about these little symbols that tell us they come in, they're available in multiple languages. So some of these are also available in French. I was looking to see if we had a QR code here. I don't see one. Little baby. All of my friends are they have grandbabies due this spring and summer, so I'm gonna need this to make some cute little cards for them. And it's just a sweet little set. Sweet girl, sweet boy. A cute little bundle there. So much that yeah, sweet little samples that you can take a look at too and copy. I love when they take a stamp and create the background with it. Sometimes you know, like this doesn't have designer series paper, that creates with it. Maybe you don't have an embossing folder that you feel is just right. So just make your background with a stamp. Turn it into something that you didn't expect. Attention shoppers. I do not have this, but I have to end that sentence with yet. I think it is adorable. But I am not a shopper, and I'm an online shopper. But the shopping cart is just the tangible shopping cart. I only see that at the grocery store. I don't want to do that. That's not fun. But these are awesome images, dies that go along with it. The shopping cart it truly is adorable, and the projects that we're seeing are amazing. But so so far I have resisted. Stay tuned. It won't last, but I can try. Bistro Burger. My friend Melissa Faust is using that in her lives. I think it's this week. It might have been last week, but I believe it's this week. So she's made 3 or 4 projects with it. So it's a fun little something that I don't think we've seen before. Love pickles and French fries as well. So, and here's another Father's Day stamp. So if you're looking for a Father's Day, this has it as well, and a knife, and a pepper. So even I believe that's olives. so pretty fun little set there. The Tune In bundle. Okay, I ran to get this one. This is retro 70s. I was thinking it reminds me of gosh. Okay, hold on. There are 2 stamp sets from the mini catalog that this reminded me of. Actually, there's kind of 3 that I feel like, and it's probably a trend that I don't get out enough to recognize. I'm just kind of talk while I look for this. Where are you? Okay, yeah, I'm okay. Just tripped over some obstacle over here. Where is this? Darn. Ah, here it is. Okay. So the Tune in my mind anyway, works with, okay, this Supremely Awesome pizza stamp set, the Just My Type, right? And especially with Let's Chat. This is my childhood. And I just, now my friend Cindy thinks that was kind of silly, but I absolutely love it. I think this font is great fun. I can't wait to stamp and make some of these cards. And I love that it's a bundle. Look, it's got the antenna, these little accent pieces that I can't, oh, the dies, so many little extra pieces with the dies. I absolutely love it. So here it is. So even this cuts out. So here are the dies for that. You can cut out the base of your TV, the inside as well. Give it your rabbit ears. 2 different sets. So I'm yeah, I think it's okay, I can't even form sentences, but I love this stamp set. I love the colors in the samples, and here it looks like they've pulled in those dots that Lana was talking about yesterday that were so pretty. Oh, what were they with? Not with our ducks. Here, these, I think they've pulled that in with, so that's pretty fun. And I just found something. I asked you yesterday if you had found any samples in here that flipped back to a sketch, and I just noticed this little sketch up here in the corner of page 66. So we can flip back to, I have that page marked, I think, or not. 22, I think it is. So here are all the sketches down here at 22, and the one, oh, it's right there. So this sketch, number 5, there's a sample for it on page 66. So good references here. I love it. Thank you so much, Lou. See, Lou's on it. She's always right there. Okay, so that's our tune-in bundle, our sketch, our bistro, these beautiful butterflies. I think that you'll hear people say, oh, I don't need another flower set. Oh, I don't need another butterfly set. Okay, you know, that's fair, but they're never exactly the same. The fonts get updated that go with them, different greetings perhaps, and these are stunning. These sketched butterflies is the name of this one, and you've got dies to cut out the solid image and dies to cut out some details for at least this one. Looks like that one. And even that one doesn't seem to have a stamp that goes with it. So those are pretty. I don't have those, but I love working with the butterflies. We have that. We still have the butterfly die cuts. So you can use that with this as well, or use them in lots of other places. The spotlight on nature. So here's another beautiful butterfly. These images are so pretty. Wouldn't be very hard. There's not a die for the leaves, but it's pretty easy to cut out if you wanted to do that. Or I love how this is stamped. So it stamps off of the circle. The dies cut out the circles in a few different ways. Let's pull those out and take a look, because the dies are going to be a staple, and the stamp set is just so pretty. So lots of detail in these, right? And so you've got this like a ridge, and then you've got some like eyelet, some stitching, then it's repeated to the smaller, and then the same here, reversed, right? Yep, so then you get roughly the same size of opposite patterns. So super pretty. Lots of samples. You can see it's kind of a doily look, would you say? But so super pretty labels for your greetings. I love when we get this little textured piece to put with it too. This is really pretty. I believe that's a piece of the DSP from the Country Wood set, and I bet that is from the color family, the 6x6. Okay, now those are all the ones that I have, but we have a few more pages, so let's keep looking at what else there is. So in the Grove, so we get is fox, coyote, I don't know, it's a wild animal. How about that? Another frame to give you the layered look, and the birch trees, and then they've brought in, I don't know where that one is from, but so really pretty masculine or generic, neutral cards, if you will. So with this, kind of some cool layering. I love the evergreens. I think I would have to practice to get really good with the mountains. The Loveliest Tree. So you might remember that there was a stamp set in the catalog forever and ever and ever called Lovely as a Tree, and it retired a year or so ago, and we were all quite sad about that. And actually, I just identified this is used in this sample over here as well. So there is a new Loveliest Tree, and it's a very full, pretty tree with some good dies and greetings that go along with it. So if you miss Lovely as a Tree, or you didn't get it then, you can pick up Loveliest as a Tree, and it is quite similar. Inspiring Snapdragons. I like that these greetings are larger. You know, sometimes a greeting is really big, and sometimes it's just smaller than you want. I feel like this is, you know, this is the Goldilocks size, or this is the Mama Bear size, not the Papa Bear and not the Baby Bear, but yeah, this is Goldilocks. Okay, now that I've said that, I can't even remember my story. Anyway, this is a good size. It's not really big, but it's big enough to be a focal point on your cards. Snapdragons, do you remember doing? I remember my Aunt Lottie taught me how to make snapdragons work. This little symbol up here is referring to the color wheel that we're going to get to later in the catalog, helping us determine color coordination. Okay, I need things like that, so I'm looking for those kind of tools. So that is the Inspiring Snapdragons, and you've got a little splatter stamp in that as well. You can create that with your markers or your blends, or you can stamp it with stamps like that, and a couple little dragonflies. The Seaside Wishes is the last bundle, last new bundle, and this is where another place that the new beige paper and colors are really standing out. This is gorgeous. It has the stamp set, the dies, as well as an embossing folder as part of this bundle, a hybrid embossing folder, so you can actually should be able to cut and emboss at the same time. We had that first with, it was a citrus. I think that was the first. Oh no, Rooted in Nature. No, what was it called? Ringed with Nature. Okay, it was nature and it was tree rings. I think that was the first one that was like this hybrid effect. So pretty sand dollars, starfish, and some nice greetings. So that's a lot, right? There are, I haven't counted. Let's count. We'll go back and count. There are, let's see, so 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 new suites. That seems a lot, and 17 new bundles. Now the next section of the catalog that we're going to go through, we're going to talk about the things that carried over. And so they have a section all to themselves. So we'll review those a little bit. I found another sketch symbol on page 73. So this is a great tool. It's not just about the products you can buy, it's about using them and inspiring your creativity. I think once we get used to this format, and I do think that, yeah, we're gonna really like the documents that I have for you. I've shared the DSP guide already. I also have punches and dies, and I have one that is kind of the whole catalog. Somewhere I have one of the online exclusives. Now that changes a fair bit, and I probably won't necessarily share that one. I don't think it doesn't have the same value. You know, these things are going to be here for a full year, so having that reference is a great tool. So, okay, well, we ran almost an hour. That's long enough. I will be back. I'll drop Harden off and get back here as quickly as I can, but it may be pushing 6:30. So set your notifications or you know, whatever, so that you can be there right at 6, and we'll pick up with the sketch number 4 is on page 73. That one is sketch number 4. Thank you, Joyce. That's awesome. We'll pick up with the encores, talk about that, a few other things, then we'll call it a night, and then we'll be back bright and early Saturday morning, and we'll go Saturday morning through the afternoon. There are more live scheduled there during that time period. I think all that has posted in the agenda, so you're up to date. A few more posts. I think that oh yeah, so the scavenger hunt is posting next. I might have given you a few hints this, but anyway, I'll be back 6:30, something like that, and I'll see you then. Thank you so much for being here. I'll see you in just a bit. Bye bye.